You know, I often say, don't I, here on this show, that there's certain things that really just annoy me. And I love sharing it now with you because I've realised we're all very much the same, you know. That's the beauty of starting a channel like this with so many fabulous chums. You can just share, you can vent a bit, can't you? You know, it's interesting. I'm just taking a breather, in fact, because as you know, we're busy over here with the general election and I'm busy interviewing all the prospective sort of MPs, clients, all that sort of stuff. And you do get a bit fed up of listening to their spiel, you know. Oh, yes, because you kind of know that most of them are in it for the money. I mean, it sounds awful saying that, but a lot of them just want to be on TV. A lot of them want the fame, you know. And when you see them turning up with their assistants and the assistants who's like 22 saying, you can't ask this, you can't, oh, you think, oh, do shut up. You know, the bottom line is you've been in the job 10 minutes, you know, I'll be asking what I fancy because that's what we all need to know, isn't it? By the way, can I just share this? I'm just basically having a chat, I hope you don't mind. You've got a 5 minutes, have you? We can have a chat, can't we? Absolutely. Does this annoy you, by the way? The other day, I'm just getting ready for work and everything, and I've got the TV on, you know, because there's a clock, isn't that, tells you the time on these news things. Every single ad was for funerals, wills, death, medical, standard chairlifts, you name it. Does that get you fed up? I don't know about you. If I was trapped at home, say in a care home or something like that, and this is what I'm confounded with, I'd be absolutely steaming. I think there should be a limit onto all of those ads because they're depressing. If you're in, you know, home just recovering, maybe you're not feeling your very best, and all you keep getting is, leave this in your will. Don't forget, you know, about this. If you gave to every single thing, you'd have nothing left for yourself, would you? You don't mind being generous. We've all got a charitable side, but literally you can see the manipulation, you know, the eyes of the kid that's crying because he hasn't been fed or whatever. Everything starts everywhere, doesn't it? We all try to be as kind as we possibly can. They just infuriate me. The other, oh gosh, you're getting me going now. The other thing that infuriates me, and let me know if this is the same for you, is you know when you have to ring up somewhere, and have you noticed now your phone bill and a high premium number that you have to ring up, so regardless of whether you can get hold of the person that you want to speak to, you have to listen to all their spiel, you know. Hi, thank you for calling so-and-so, this is Becky. Can I remind you that this call could be recorded for training purposes? How may I help you? Now, let's be blunt. If you've phoned up a hotel, chances are you want two things. A reservation for the restaurant, if you could afford it, or a room. So why do we need all this spiel? And the thing that I do, by the way, just kind of makes me laugh, but just kind of annoy these people if you do it back. When they say this phone call may be recorded, I say, yes, I'm recording it my end too, just for my purposes to see if you can answer my question. They go silent then. They never want to be recorded back. You can do it on your phone. Yes, if you've got an iPhone, it's so easy to do. And it's so funny, you know, because they literally start to stumble and lose the plot. That's when you get them. You see, you can learn a lot on this channel, you know what I'm saying? Now, here's the thing I found out as well, another rip-off in the world of what we're living in today, because I've got to go travelling around very soon to interview, as I say, follow the election trails and stuff like that. And the TV company that I'm working with said, oh, you know, book some of these hotels. Here's the deal, though. Do you remember years ago, right, when you checked in a hotel, you could check in, couldn't you, at 3 o'clock? Remember that? I know it'd been pushed back then to 3. Now it's 4 o'clock. And you have to be out the room at 11. And if it's before, or you know, if you go after 11, they then charge you for a half-day rate. Have you stumbled across that rip-off yet? Oh, I kicked off about that because that's all very well them doing that, as long as you can get into your room at 4 o'clock. How many times do you go to reception? They say, we're running behind a little bit, only because they've laid off half the staff. And the other bit that gets, oh, you know, we are talking, you know, you're still with me, aren't you? Wave if you are. Come on, don't be daft. Now, here's the other thing that really gets my goat as well, is the business of not cleaning your room. You know, leave the towels up if you want to save the planet. At this price, you know, I'll have fresh towels, thanks. I'll have my bed made. If I want to live slovenly, I'll stay at home. Do you know what I mean? I can't be bothered with all of this nonsense. Can you? Really gets on my nerves, that. And also, they're not saving the planet. They're putting people out of work. That's what it's all about, trust me. They're just saving staff so they don't need to bring them in, then they don't need to pay them. Yet, allegedly, 4- and 5-star hotels saving the planet. It's a little bit like the carrier bag thing, isn't it? Yes, I know. Yeah, you see, we agree. Also, can I just thank you all for your lovely comments regarding a thing that I mentioned a while back now, a couple of videos back, about my involvement with the soap opera at Coronation Street and how I ended up being the very first person to record the lyrical version of the theme tune of the soap that's been running since 1960. I wanted to share that with you because a lot of people asked me and said, you know, how did you get the job? At that time, I was working as a session singer and also marketing manager for a major record label. Now, as a session singer, I've sung on many, many records around the world. You're probably listening to me without realizing it, you know what I'm saying? This is for pop stars that couldn't sing, that you were brought in to be their voice, and of course they only ever mimed on things, and so consequently you were the singer, but you never got credited. Sometimes you may find my name on the back of labels as a backing singer, but it's very rare because they never want to let the person out the bag. But Coronation Street was a different thing, you see, because what had happened was, do you remember way back in the 90s when they started making these DVDs just for TV only, and there were specials, you know, like if it was Emmerdale, it was Emmerdale Down Under, or Coronation Street in Hollywood, you know. Now the Coronation Street one that I recorded the theme tune for, I think was actually set on the QE2. I think that's the version. It's a long time ago now, you know, you can't remember. I'm not quite sure even if Joan Collins didn't make a cameo in it. Anyway, what happened was they'd instructed my boss, Mike Stock of Stock Aitken Waterman fame, to, you know, write the lyrics for this particular thing. He was also providing 2 other tracks. He said to me, could I, you know, demo the song? Now, one Friday night, inside the vast studios of PWL, Stock Aitken Waterman, we recorded that track. Literally, it was just a piano and me and him. And then what happened was, of course, you don't hear anything for a couple of days and, you know, you never hear the thing or all that sort of stuff. And then I finally heard them mixing the track. And I thought, not too bad. I mustn't have been too bad because one of the producers, who was less than friendly to anybody, said, oh, you know, begrudgingly, you didn't do a bad job on that. I thought, oh, thank you very much. What happened was we had a tape. Do you remember cassettes in those days? And so I was sent up to Coronation Street in Manchester to present this version to the bosses of Coronation Street and the widow of the original composer, Eric Spear. Now, she was a lovely lady, very, very down to earth, such a nice, kind, sweet woman. And anyway, we played her the tape and she said, yep, that's lovely, love it, absolutely. Everybody gave it a thumbs up, and so we were going to go into production. To give you a bit of background to that, the idea really was that somebody famous was going to re-record this song. Somebody, say, like Michael Ball, Michael Crawford, somebody of that level, a musical theatre star, as he said. But all thanks to Eric Spear's widow, she said, no, I like this voice. Now, when I went back to the studios, remember, there's no mobiles in this point, you know, so you have to wait till you get back from Manchester to London and say, well, no, you know, she likes this. They thought at the studio that I was just trying to become a pop star and leave the company. But you see, the bottom line is they didn't want me to leave because I was too useful as a session singer and, of course, making a lot of hits for that particular company. I was very good at marketing, even though I say so myself. So what was interesting then was that they didn't know what to do because, of course, you know, they really didn't want me to do it. But Granada TV asked me to perform the song on one of their lunchtime shows, which is what we did. Now, the record label didn't know about this. This is what I mean about being, you know, clever. I just went up there and performed it, and we did it live on this lunchtime TV show. There is a recording of it. I've got it somewhere. And that was very successful. And then because of the fallouts between the company, Granada, and of course the production company, everything went up in the air. What a mess. You know, the whole background of that was a mess. But I was lucky enough to retain a copy of it, and that's what you're seeing. And that is the single version, and it did very well for me. That's all I can say. But the lesson behind that story, and there's a lot more which I could go into detail, but I won't bore you with it just today, is the thing about that is, you know, that is the show business world. You have it, you think it's all going well, and you think, wow, this is the moment, and then it's not, you know. So the bottom line really about that is enjoy the moment while you can, because you never know when it's going to be snatched away. I then, of course, went on to make a series of tracks all based on the mega hits of the wonderful Sir Cliff Richard and We Don't Talk Anymore, which ended up becoming a top 10 hit in strange places around the world. Finally today, I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time out. I hope you don't mind me talking to you. It's just nice to actually come out of the other side of, you know, doing the stories, the reporting stuff, and having a chat with you, my chums. I love reading about what you think to the stories, the things that we discuss. So glad that you enjoyed the previous one. All I ask you is if you could like and share this particular video, it would be very helpful. And of course, let's get more people commenting and discussing and having a conversation between us. You know, it's about friendship, it's about being together, and it's about, of course, interacting. You never feel alone on this channel. You might want to, but you can't, because I'm not going to let you. Until we next have a chat, Neil Sean, Kensington Park, London.